Midakiepi are very, very beloved members of our human family, past, present, and future. I want to extend a very warm and loving handshake and embrace to each and every relative who's here. We'd like to begin with one of the great, great indigenous leaders that now live in this physical plane of time and space, whose family has always stood up for that which is in service to the people and all life. So if you would, dear sister Casey, hereditary drumkeeper of the Women's Scalp Society of the Ponca Nation, who has led her life, and her family who's led her life, her beloved brother Casey as well, so many. If you would be so kind to give us an opening prayer so we might enter into this time even deeper of the sacred fulfillment of the prophecies of the reunion, the condor, the quetzal, and the eagle.
Wibdaha. Appreciate that, my brother. And thank you for thinking of our brother Carter in such a good way. I'm grateful for your words. I'm grateful for your presence, and Ali and the rest of us. Thank you for joining together here. And thank you for allowing me to address the great mystery. I have the fire, the sacred rock, the cedar, the sage, and the sacred water here with me at this time. Wakanda khube, manja khube, wibdaha, ehe, wibdaha, wibdaha, ni, mi, miamba, khuda, uhu, dachte, de. Great mystery, Earth Mother. Thank you. Thank you, Father Sky, Moon Mother, Father Sun, water, air, earth, fire, Manzi, Beji Khuda, cedar and sage, Nini, tobacco. All those that are present here on this evening as we look to the west, to the Thunder Nation, to the north, to the White Wolf of Purification, to the east, to the Morning Star, Father Sun, to the south, to the warm winds of growth, above, Star Nation, Moon Mother, Father, below, the one that sustains us, the one true Mother we all share, you, our sacred Mother Earth, and all of those beneath you, those that are creepy crawlers, those that live in the waters, the water herself, all of the relatives that you know that we only pray to because we need to understand how to share this sacred moment in this web of life. Connect us through all of these sacred things and forgive us if there's something, some way we've forgotten. I ask you to look at all of those Daituwazi, those pitiful ones right now, suffering, whatever form they are, forelegs, fins, wings. They might be hurting because of weather that has encountered the hurricane. They might be hurting because COVID has made them sick and they may have lost someone. They might be hurting because they don't have a home tonight to call their own or food to eat. So for all of those and all of the unknown that we don't even know how to pray for, connect our spirit with all of that. Share this prayer. Between the condor and the eagle, join us, Red Nations people, into the spirit of unity that you've guided us through prophecy through this moment. Thank you for all that is. Sha.
Oh, thank you so, Sister. And Sister Casey gave the opening prayer at 5:30 Pacific Daylight Time, June 20th, 2020, when in fact at 5:44 p.m. PDT, the sacred prophecy of the reunion of the condor and the eagle was fulfilled, sensed across the Americas. And arising is just in 11 nation states are more than 78 million indigenous people who are now in embryonic stages connected via the everywhere spirit, the internet, which was foretold in our sacred prophecy. And I was directly there and heard Eddie Belrose and Abe Bernstick foretell the internet and what it was going to do back in 1975. We already were aware of this. And so now it's unfolding. And I just want to give a context of this incredible film we've just had the opportunity to experience and witness, of which you're going to hear from those as Sister Casey and others here who've been in that film. And I want to thank the United Religions Initiative and those here, that young people, the seventh generation who are here. United Religions Initiative was began through a consultation process in 1991, which I was honored to be part of, and launched in 2000, and has grown into the largest grassroots interfaith movement in the world. And one of the cornerstones of the United Religions Initiative is a recognition that the indigenous peoples of the world, their spiritual faith is as good as any spiritual faith upon the earth, upon the face of Mother Earth. And they've demonstrated that by their great support, including Standing Rock, including our treaty to protect the sacred. So I want to thank the United Religions Initiative, the Universal Universalists, and all those people who are coming together united in faith. United in faith. Just briefly, before we begin, give you just a backdrop here. A little over 500 years ago, there existed across the Americas the most illumined, enlightened civilization the world has ever seen. We know now there was at least 100 million, and now scholars are saying 108 million relatives living across the Americas, despite what others may think. That's what was here. And here we're living, as in Africa, by the way, living in relative peace and harmony together with one heart and one mind. You can go anywhere across the Americas, and I can say, beginning in Bolivia in 1970, I lived in Panama, I was 4.5 years old, when I was 1950, I think, that you can practice those direction ceremonies anywhere, including my great journey in the Amazon. All of us share this understanding of Father Sky, Mother Earth, and the four directions. That's why we were able to, in peace, provide the world with 80% of every bite of food they're eating today came from our indigenous peoples here. And it's very interesting. They're finding that the indigenous people's knowledge of plant medicines is around 25,000 different unique plants, of which Western science has only penetrated 1,200. And so it was this great struggle that's gone on between the spiritual forces of the union of the condor and the eagle, and those powers that had developed great physical power. And we understand that part too, because when you have to endure war after war and famines and inquisitions and those things, your heart so full of pain and hurt, what do you develop? The mind. But better be careful if you believe somehow just the mind and physical power is what's about this world. But the world's been learning that. And so you can see, you know, we know there was at least 80 million relatives lost. 80 million. But I didn't want to say lost. We know when we're conceived in this physical time, this physical space of time and place, we are born sovereignties, ancient, imperishable, and everlasting. So are we gone? No, we're right here. Because each of us here is a spiritual representative, all gone before them. And so we are sitting here with all the relatives in one way or the other across the Americas. So I wanted to say that much before we begin and say that this prophecy has been fulfilled and we're going to see unfolding. As was shared earlier, and as we so beautifully saw in this magnificent film, that literally the indigenous people, you may want to go back to prophecy, say like the last shall be first, are rising. They are rising. And their message is very clear. We are one human family in the prior unity and oneness of not only the human family, but all life. And the hurt of one is a hurt of all. And the healing of one is a healing of all. And that's what this is about. We've come here together as people of faith, whatever that faith may be. Whatever is giving you joy and happiness, we honor and respect. Whatever gives you the capacity to be honest and truthful and respectful of others and yourself, we honor that this evening. So to begin, I'd like to begin with one of the members of our seventh generation, a young man from Argentina, of the Aymara community. He started and founded Comunidad Cosmica Cooperation Circle of the United Religions Initiative. He was United Religions Youth Ambassador in 2010. He's part of the First Nations of America Student Committee, SEPNA. He's done so much. He's a great writer. Founded the Circle of Indigenous Written and Oral Knowledge. So, Toshka Francisco, you're right there, beginning us, right at the very southern tip of the union of the condor, the quetzal, and the eagle, which is united clear to the north of this great Americas. So, Toshka, please share your heart and your wisdom.
Muchas gracias, hermano Phil.
Thank you so much, Brother Phil, for your support, for your commitment. I want to start my message giving homage to the regions, the united regions of our initiative that gave me the possibility of meeting you, of meeting my siblings in North America, of becoming able to become aware of the reality in North America, and what has given me this possibility. It was, this uniting of the condor and the eagle physically, was written beforehand, right? In the United States. But with this, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Francisco Morales. Currently, I am the regional counselor for Latin America and the Caribbean. And I'm here to share a little bit about this documentary. I want to, bring my message from my community. We are urban indigenous people, is what we say. And why are we urban? Well, this is a reality that's come from, the loss of our territories, our ancestral territories. And we had to leave to find work because of economic necessity. Many times we are pushed out of our territories and we end up in the cities. And this is the reality that creates urban indigenous peoples. We're recognized by the United Nations. We're almost 60% of the indigenous people in the world. And we need to recognize that current reality. Many of us, as the documentary says, we would like to come back to our cosmovision of our knowledges. I think that the most beautiful message of this documentary is the hope that exists through this prophecy, through what we have in our hearts and our knowledge. Maybe you can hear a dog barking. My dog is barking, and it's a really beautiful symbol because he wants to participate. And that's how we are, indigenous people as well. We are come as we are. I really get so happy when I hear the messages from plants and from animals, and it's something I love to interpret. Currently, I also want to share a joy of mine. It also is part of the documentary, the importance of consulting. Many don't know this, but it's very important. We've gone to the countries that recognize the constitutional conventions. They're obligated to consult with indigenous peoples to ask what type of development they want and what they need for their people. So I'm coming from the south of Buenos Aires, Argentina. I have a little map to share. It's the map of the province of Buenos Aires, made by the indigenous group that exists in Buenos Aires. And look at the amount of communities, recognized communities that there are. This is the city of Buenos Aires, the capital. But here, it's the rest of the province of Buenos Aires. So this urban reality that we're living in, I want to share, a moment of joy. They called me at 6 p.m. of the Indigenous Council of the province of Buenos Aires, asking if I would be one of the possible elected officials to represent the Coya Aymara community. And I was so surprised to get this call. And I said, maybe the ancestors want in this moment for me to be this candidate. And I accepted. And so, Brother Phil, I want to share this joy. We have to make sure that they respect these conventions. I think that in this time of coronavirus has to do as well with the documentary, because for me, the most important thing is that we need to choose humanity. This message is not just for Indigenous people either, but for the world. Perhaps we are the ones who suffer the most. This type of development, this Western, development that destroys the natural world is hurting us, but we do need to understand how we should be living. And so, Phil, I want you to know that from the South, you have my commitment, my support. And thank you to everyone who has made this documentary possible, because it's so important that we understand that this development model doesn't just affect us, Indigenous people, it's affecting the reality and life itself. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you for your words. In my heart and everybody, we're rising up to the occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, dear brother, for those beautiful, beautiful words, reminding us this is about every member of our human family. And so we have a great honor to have with us from the great relatives of the Condor, Rosa Delia Kespi Makas, a wonderful elder. a teacher of primary education, also speaks Quechua, the language of the indigenous people, Quechua Saguro. As well, she holds master's degrees in bilingual education, a member of the United Religions Group, Cooperation Circle SAME. And so she's going to share with us her vision, her understanding of what's unfolding in the United Religions Latin America and Caribbean region. So, Rosa, estoy muy contento para usted estar con nosotros. Por favor.
I'm very happy to have you here with us, Rosa. Thank you for sharing your voice. What would you like to say?
Gracias, hermanos y hermanas.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. I'm Rosa Delia Quispe. I'm speaking to you from the south of Ecuador. For my brothers and sisters that in this moment we're present in this long battle, this huge war. And thank you to the hosts of this beautiful reunion or this beautiful meeting. This meeting, you know, we are calling to one another and inviting and demanding our responsibility to address the wounds that we have caused to the Mother Earth. Thank you, brothers and sisters. You're doing beautiful work. You're knocking on the doors of the hearts of humanity because this is our work. Those who want to return to the beautiful things that existed before, return to the natural way of being. Those who want to come back and recuperate our way of living, our cultural ways, our humanitarian ways, and within our families, within our communities, and within the society, we need to be knocking on the doors of the hearts of human beings so that these hearts can feel, so that we can all feel the necessity of loving ourselves, first of all. And if we don't see that necessity, nobody is going to be able to see the suffering. They won't be able to look at the suffering of others and of us all. The condor and the eagle, their meaning and the meaning of their meeting, they are immensely powerful. And they're calling to us from the two worlds, the north and the south, the eagle in the north and the condor in the south. And in parentheses, the condors have reappeared in this place in Ecuador. And I think that's a huge message that they're sending us, that we need to unite north and south, east and west, to start knocking on the hearts of the doors of those hearts and waking up the necessity to recuperate and recognize the harms that we have caused in humanity and against our Mother Earth. And that's our duty. I want to give thanks and congratulations to the hosts. I can't pronounce your names well. They're a little unknown to me, but I've had the pleasure of getting to know you, of seeing you, and of being very happy meeting with you in this meeting where we can unite our forces, we can share, and we can turn on these lights of hope to make ourselves better and to see the possibility to start from ourselves, with ourselves, embodying our hopes and entering the minds of these human beings who are directing these huge industries that are causing harm to our natural world, and communicating that we cannot continue polluting and doing this to the world. We are dying. And that's what it is. And this pandemic, this virus as well is related. But we're connecting again with our knowledges, our ancestral knowledges of the plants, the wisdom of how to mix these plants, and using that to defend ourselves from the attack of this virus. And this is how our indigenous peoples are surviving. And this is how we're giving medicine to the world, the whole world. Thank you again, siblings. I'm from Sesesama Uri, Ecuador. I'm present, and in this moment, I'm acting as an advisor to Uri Latino America. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sister.
Thank you so much, sister, for your beautiful, beautiful words. These are the words our elders say that transcend, go beyond the murmur of syllables and sounds. They go beyond the world of names. And that's what I've heard from our beautiful beginning prayer to this point. Before we come to our concluding speaker, here, we're going to have one of our 7th generation young men, Jonathan Freeman, Choctaw, Chichimeca, founder and director of Native Grassroots, which brings together traditional wisdom, cultural innovation, and cross-cultural education to advance Native communities through realization of art and social justice. He has done many different programs, and as well, he has curated and co-directed the Native Arts Cultural Collection art exposition. So Jonathan, we look forward to hearing from your heart and soul a message from the 7th generation of who you so beautifully, strongly represent.
Oh, good evening, everyone. Halito, Hestum. I'm so humbled to be here tonight, to be part of this conversation, to be in dialogue with you all. It feels very humbling to be here with the panelists tonight and with the filmmakers, you know, to congratulate everyone on this effort to share this story, to raise the awareness, and to carry us forward into this really, in many ways, a dire time. I feel in some ways I'm jumping on for tonight being a panelist. I'm popping in the middle of a journey, and I'm honored to be part of that journey. I'm joining you all tonight from the homelands of the Wintu people, of the Yana people, and just to the east, the Pit River people, Issaquah people. And I thought about what, you know, we can share tonight, what I can share, and you know, and I feel that I'm a reed, I'm a conduit for things. There's so many people that do such hard work day in and day out. And so, you know, hopefully I represent our community in a good way tonight. This community is in regards to this conversation around oil specifically, in that we find ourselves really being impacted by what is proposed as the solutions to this toxic carbon-filled industry. Here in our region, we've had to fight off the development of geothermal plants on sacred lands. We have a large dam, Shasta Dam, blocking hundreds of miles of river and salmon habitat that has flooded the homelands of Wintu people and devastated the populations. We have wind turbines, industrial scale wind turbines that have just already disrupted one whole mountaintop with a path wide enough you could land a jet on it. And currently, Pit River people and other community members are fighting another wind project, the Fountain Wind Project, which will have wind turbines on another mountain, 600 feet tall. we look at these as solutions, but really they're also becoming ideas of sacrifice zones. And bring forward a conversation that green energy doesn't just mean energy that doesn't produce carbon. It has to do with our respect for the earth, our respect for the water, our respect in a lot of ways, and then also to turn the lens back to ourselves about consumption and our own needs and our own desires and our own philosophies, and how when we talk about colonialism, that the lingering impact of coloniality, the mentality of colonialism, is something that we still are working toward uncoupling ourselves from. And so I'm really honored to be part of this conversation here tonight, and I really appreciate our brother here sharing good news. And we're having this conversation this week, and I mentioned the dams that this week they announced that 4 of the dams on the Klamath River will be decommissioned and removed, which will be reinvigorating the Klamath River sandstock. And for the Yurok people, it's been a long fight. And so just sharing that good news that change is possible. Long battles can result in massive wins. And with that, I look forward to our conversation tonight.
Oh, and thank you, Jonathan. Thank you so much. Because the sacred prophecy said that there was a reason why we went through 500 years of this suffering. In a way, I look at it as we've been just stepped out of a 500-year Sundance in which we've been facing that sacred tree. No matter what happened, we kept praying, we kept praying, we kept praying. Or being in a 500-year Anikaka sweat lodge, you put the rocks on harder and harder. We kept praying, 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 praying. And now we are emerging stronger and more united and more fused together in our love and compassion for all life than ever, ever, ever before. Ever before. And that is what I believe we can see so clearly unfolding. And so on one hand, systems break down everywhere, but I can say at the same time, having systems breakthrough everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. And just think of this. We look, and you can look at what's happening just in the Eagle to the north of the Mexican border, quote unquote, the Mexican border, no borders. We only are a little over 6 million. Just in 11 nation states south of the US border, there is 72 million indigenous people. 72, just in 11 nation states. There's at least, now we come back to probably, if you can count all those who are, there's recognized indigenous, 78 million, but it's all those who are the majority that have some degree of background from here. Love brings people together. The fact is, we're interrelated to more than half the people living in this Western hemisphere. The Americas are with us, plus all those that came here not understanding, maybe understanding, that when you come on our land, we're not gone. In a physical sense, yes, but we take children and we take care of them. We raise them. We bring them, and look at all the changes going on. It's so funny to me. One last thing is, first they came, thought they'd get us by getting all our gold and silver and all that, right? Everything. What are they looking for now? Our sacred medicines. Our sacred medicines. Those sacred medicines we have, and they haven't even begun to touch those sacred medicines because we're protecting them. And that's why we're opening the Global Center for Indigenous Sciences and Ancestral Wisdom. We've been working on that since, 1989. We've been working on that, but it's finally launching. All these things that so many are doing, just like Jonathan, because the enlightenment, we become illumined. Enlightening the world means not just spiritually, but once our heart changes, our mind changes. So it's also completely giving a different understanding, even how we think. and being able to understand the powers, the most two potent powers on the face of Mother Earth. One is science and one is spirituality. And today we're fusing them together. And that's what a little over 500 years is going to demonstrate. The spiritual dimension is the foundation of all. And so to close us up here, dear Sister Casey, we'd love to have you representing as the hereditary drum keeper. I want to just think back this. We'll go by any titles. Let's go way back, the great Ponca Nation. To hold that position was kind of like our Braveheart Society, those that went into battle. And not the kind of battles that happened later, but where we're really, the greatest honor was to not kill your enemy, but to be able to touch them. It was kind of almost until we had to go back and find we're not dealing with people who understood honor. So, sister, please, we'd love to hear your heart and voice to close us up here, to put an exclamation point on this visit.
Thank you, relative. And thank you, young relatives that are here speaking tonight, and to the elder relative from Ecuador, Ali, and the interpreters. Thank you all. There's a particular feeling that comes when we share these moments together, an empowerment that comes through these shared experiences. And many things come to mind. When my brother was talking about this internet, I just learned to use this recently. COVID, which has caused a lot of sadness and grief. We've lost another wisdom keeper in our area just tonight, an elder woman. My children have suffered, my grandchildren and one great grandson with this illness. And on the other side of this, we have joined together in this web of life that they now call the internet. And it's obvious that in our original ways, our connections were deep and strong and were carried in the winds. They were carried through the trade routes that we had open, because these lines that the colonists put on these maps didn't exist to us. You know, within the Ponca language, there are words for the brightly colored birds. There are words for the monkeys. There's words for the different types of foods that could only have grown way down south. There's words for that woolly mammoth, Wakandapashnede, about this one they called the woolly mammoth, the elephant that lived up in the Ice Age. Those are part of our language. And it is part of the connection of who we are as humans walking on two legs with our relatives in whatever form that they take. When I was young and things were coming into this world that they called activism, for us it was just being who we are, that we have an honor and a duty to protect, to defend, to uplift and to care for all that is. Our medicine people were speaking of this time. They called it the purification. When we were in ceremony, the spirits were talking. And our interpreters, those that poured the water in the Yupi ceremony, those that talked to the sacred tree in that Sundance that my relatives spoke of, were telling us that this time, the moon, the sun, the earth, were going to enter into what they called a sacred dance of purification. And when that happened, the winds would rise, the thunders would grow stronger, the ice would come down, the deserts would change, the plants would reroot in a different place, in a different way. And this would begin the healing of the Mother Earth that our relative in Ecuador spoke of so eloquently in when she spoke of the wounding of our Mother, the Earth. Recently, I heard my brother Leonard Crodog speaking, and he said something that seemed so profound to me that I don't still yet understand it. But he was talking about our relationship with our Mother Earth. And he said, even though she endured many cesareans, he said it that way, many cuts to give life, she still sustains us. She still loves us, regardless of what she has to go through. That still touches me, that our Mother cares for us this deeply. And so it feels like an honor to be living through this time of purification, to learn how to not unravel this web of life anymore, but to weave and to mend, to connect through this new way that has been foretold of connecting the condor and the eagle, to project the very ways of prophecy that have led us to open up our hearts and say, yes, we'll teach you and we'll share with you these lessons that we have had to pierce our bodies to sustain. We're going to bleed that out for you now. And through that understanding of that prayer in the deepest possible way, we're going to forgive you for the things that you have done to our peoples and to our Mother and to the forelegs, to the fins and to the wings, and to the sacred corn Mother. And we're going to help you to understand that you can no longer commodify the very air that we breathe. You can no longer break a seed open and take its genetics and mess with them and still continue to be part of the sacred system of life. And through the teachings of our ancestors and the teachings of the unborn that come to us in our ceremonies, in the teachings of the condor and the eagle, and the bonding that happens on this red quadrant of Mother Earth that we share. We're coming together with all of you who just think they're coming to see a film. You're coming to fill your spirit with truth. You're coming to an understanding that life can rebalance. You're going to see a path that opens in front of you, and you're going to make a decision. Do you want to be the lemmings jumping off of a cliff and ceasing to exist as a species? Or are you coming to understand that we're not here about protecting nature? We are nature protecting itself. And we're blessed to be able to do so, to make that decision. I'm so grateful to be among you. Weblaha. Sha.
Oh. You know, it's so easy, as illustrated tonight, and everywhere you look, why our sacred prophecies say that womankind would be the leaders of this change. And that means, as we want to participate, brothers, that means we have to develop that part of our own hearts, that tender, kind, gentle, but also, don't worry, strength. Balance that, as our sisters so beautifully have told us and shared with us this evening. So, Midakiyep, I think we understand that Mother Earth's not sick, we're sick. And the only way to heal our Mother Earth is heal ourselves. The only one we can heal is our own self. And at the same time, we know at this time, as prophesied, that spiritual energy needed to do that is here with us. For all of us, every member of our human family. So again, I want to thank United Religions Initiative for this incredible program, the other faith relatives that sponsored this, the beautiful URI cooperation circles who so beautifully shared, our younger relatives, other older relatives, and all those who have been here right as we speak, closer to our closest vein from all the relatives in the other side camp. Because there is no death. There's just a change of world. So I'm going to conclude this with a prayer. And we've been so inspired, so inspired. Thank each and every one of you. And this beautiful, beautiful circle have done the Spanish translation. And so important. And they're going to come up with, you watch, with a way, sooner or later, when we be corresponding, and it'll just happen automatically. There won't be any of this. Just so. Oten Kashal Wakanta, creator of the universe, most beloved one, all powerful one, most kind one, most compassionate one, ever forgiving one, most ancient way. O ancient of days, most beloved one, we call upon your holy power at this time. We ask all those beloved ones who walk that red road before us, that we might open our hearts to receive their prayers and inspiration at this time as we move forward in fulfilling fully the sacred prophecies given to us by our ancestors that have been kept in sacredness for all these generations, for this very special day, the day that shall not be followed by night. Wakantaka, creator of the universe, we call upon all those tribes in the east from where comes the red sunrise. They might come together in unity and harmony, in oneness and strength. And Wakantaka, creator of the universe, we call upon all the tribes and nations of the south from where comes new life. Come together in unity and harmony, in oneness, in unity and diversity. To the west from where comes thunder, lightning, and rain. In darkness, we call upon all those tribes and nations of the West to come together in unity and harmony with one heart and one mind and many bodies. Creator of all good things, we call upon all those tribes and nations in the north from where comes the white snow. The north winds to purify our hearts and minds of all save our Creator to come together in unity and harmony. And humbling ourselves before our Father Sky. But especially, we ask tonight that you might forgive our grandfathers, fathers, uncles, brothers, grandsons, for our awkward ways, and that we might be guided to humble ourselves and to leave behind our weapons of war and pick up weapons of love, compassion, forgiveness, and understanding. And we humble ourselves before our beloved Mother Earth. And tonight we remember our beloved mothers who gave us life. And just for that, we're thankful to have this beloved life. And for our grandmothers and our mothers and our sisters and our daughters and aunts, wives, companions, friends, we as well humble ourselves in that way. And I want to say this prayer of unity was passed on to me many, many years ago, and I love the prayer because we want to honor and respect everyone's prayers, as long as those prayers bring love and compassion and kindness and unity. Creator, we know those are good prayers. Oh my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal unto them thy great purpose. May they follow in thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps for the light of knowledge and cheer their hearts with your love. Haoli michante washtealo, shunk mano hemeado, chinupasapa hemeado, haoli michante washte. My names are Chinupasapa and shunk mano, and I stand responsible before the Creator for my words and my actions. Haoli michante washte. Have a beautiful evening, day, and this is the day that shall not be followed by night. Haoli michante washte. Have a beautiful evening.
Gracias, hermanos.
Gracias, hermanos.
Francisco.
Abrazos, abrazos.
Thank you, brothers.
for-
Hugs to all of you.